look at this. Just I guess. We can hear it through this camera. I'm supposed to wait for me to beauty Okay, my name is Lana Skowtipkin. I'm running for position 2 in the Omak district. And I want to be on the council. I've been voting in the Omak district since 1970. I want to see a change. I want to be able to change instead of just hearing about it. In all my campaign letters that I quit everything since 1994 because I hear everybody telling me, promising me this, promising me that. Our elders, our veterans, our children, they make promises after promises, and then when they get in the council, they lose sight of where it goes. So my goal is to be there for the people, not another councilman, not my family, and certainly not my partner. That doesn't fly with me. Just because you're my friend doesn't mean I'm going to get you a job. You have to be qualified to work for our tribe. We need qualified people to working in our tribe. We don't need somebody whose cousin needs a job or best buddy they went to school with and fixing jobs and making jobs for them. We need a stronger ED to tell the council this is what I need, not the council telling him how to be. We need a stronger HR department to reach out to our people and look for jobs and make jobs for our people. And we do need jobs, and we need a stronger higher ed. We need more money for higher ed because after closing CIPP and CIPV, there's a lot of people out there that don't have anything to do but re-educate them. Give them skills to move on. That's what our employment training is supposed to be doing. That's what our voc rehab is supposed to be doing. But if you're not a buddy with anybody there or anything there, that doesn't fly. For me, it's every tribal member is equal. And if you have a problem, you better find yourself another job. And we need people in there that'll stand there and say, we gotta help everybody, not just a few, everybody. Vote Saturday. Please, everybody vote Saturday. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being able to show up. Billy, good to see you here too. And the other candidates, good to see everybody who did show up. The more I'm around this lady, the more I like her. I told her the other day I respect her more so that I get to know her. She speaks from the heart. I appreciate her. I'm actually running to offer a choice in the election. I'm not running against anybody. I'm just running for some things, and I just want to offer a clear choice. As she said, I do think that fairness and equitable treatment of membership is important. I think more accountability within the tribal government needs to occur, particularly in the hiring process. I'm particularly concerned about paying attention to the council resolutions and employee policy manual. Seems like we get a little top heavy again with our administration, in my view anyway. And meanwhile, we're asked to cut our budget 19%. I'm currently running the Area Agency on Aging program, and 19% budget cut to that program cuts pretty deep right now. Especially when we have elders that are shut in, they're isolated. We have elders that need a medical alert, help me, I fall and I can't get up. We need carbon monoxide detectors in their homes. We jump our elders from their own home directly into a hospital or a nursing home. There's no in between. There's no quality of life issues being addressed. If we had rain gutters, if we had ramps, if we had safety railings, if we had people looking in on our elders, their lives would be more quality. They wouldn't be so isolated. They wouldn't be shut in. And instead, we don't have any type of assisted living here on the reservation. So that's one of the biggest concerns I have, is to have the tribes, have the council, whoever's on the council, instead of just saying the elders are a priority, make them a priority. So I would like to see a full-blown elder services program rather than just a state contracted AAA that we're getting cut federal 7.7, state 4.4, and the tribes 19%. Besides that, I'm running because I want to see a new Omak senior meal site. I want to see a new health clinic. I want to see some of the resources the tribes have put in the Omak district. And the way I look at it is Omak is how I'm running. So, thank you.
White House, Jolly Squeeze, Stuart Sellers. Hello, good evening. My name is Stuart Sellers. I'm the son of the late Caroline and Lawrence Sellers, grandson of the late Ted Susan Cohen, grandson of the late Francis and Annie Sellers. I'm running for Business Council position number 1 in Omak District. And I think we need to let the people be heard in our district, and we need more activities for our youth and everybody around. And one of my goals is like a little sub-agency over here, where everybody's office is in one area instead of having to come down here and see the clinic and go up to the mission and see wherever anybody else's office is. I think we should have one around here, all in one area. But I'd like, running for council, I think councilman needs to listen to people and education. We need to get more tribe members educated. More members we have educated, less employment we're going to have. And let's retrain our older members. Let them go out and learn a new trade and do something productive. And that's about it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. White and Chai Squeezed, Stina Brooks, currently in position number 1 for the Omak Council. And a couple of years ago, my driving force was, and my campaign slogan was caring for the future. And I had a lot of high hopes, and dreams to do a lot of the changes that, some of our candidates were suggesting today. And when I got into council, I realized that a lot of we had a lot of roadblocks. We didn't have no money to do any of these activities. And so my hopes and dreams to do that were squashed by a huge deficit and spending that was out 2 years and with no income coming in or anything like that. So it was pretty rough that first year coming into council. So I switched gears in my head and my heart. I realized that we needed to make money in order to spend money. And so I switched gears and started working on different revenue sources so that we could do these activities. So at first I was trying to, okay, we need to lobby the federal government for these services. We need to get in there and get in good with the government and try to get some more money from them. And that didn't work too well. The federal government, I think, sees Native Americans as expendable, and that road was pretty good, but we never got really much from them. And so then I started concentrating on the revenue side, which is the revenue generation that we have from our business arms. And I was trying to, from that point on, I was trying to get our business arm in good healthy state, and then start to find different money that we could use to different ways to generate funds. And some of that was through our some of the tax revenues that we're negotiating, different businesses, like the C-stores and stuff that we want to develop, getting the mill up and operating. Those are the revenue streams that are going to start coming in this next year. And once those are all in place, you're going to see a big change in the amount of services that we can provide. And so at first, I felt that was the first priority, was to get the revenue coming in. And then now that the revenue's coming in, we can switch gears to really start providing the quality service that our membership deserves. And we also had the Qualcomm plan set aside, for forest restoration. Now we have funds for forest restoration. We have funds for language development now. We have funds to address some of the healthcare concerns, drug and alcohol programs and stuff, through the Qualcomm plan. We have funds now to address the community health, community development issues. We also have funds now to address our own district concerns, which is our senior center, maybe this gymnasium. So I'm very proud that our council stood strong on that note to look forward to the future and be able to provide these opportunities now to our membership and I think that's going to be true change. So, thank you.
Anybody have any questions for them?
You want to come over here? You want me to bring the mic to you?
Well, I don't want to be the only one.
No, I'm going to ask a question too. I got my paper here too.
Go for it.
All right, so my first question is to all four of you. I'd like to go 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. Can you pass a background check if you were given one?
By the tribe, the state of Washington, the federal, or
By the tribe and the state. Could you pass both, or could you just pass a tribal one? If you could just even pass a tribal one, that's a pretty good background check, Still, so let me know that you can pass one of them at least.
I can pass all the background checks, I was just kidding. No problem, I can pass it.
I can pass them too, because I work for Mill Bay Casino, I work for OBC, so I passed for license for gaming.
Yes, I can pass all the background checks.
Good question. Yes, I can pass the background check, drug test, whatever else you want. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to know what record of public service that you've done in the past year. If you can name all 3 things, up to 3 things would be awesome. You don't have to do any more of that. I pretty much would get the gist of it if you were able to give me 3. So.
I'm not sure I've done any public service volunteer type of work in the past year. Been busy at home with a 1-year-old son, so I can't say I've participated in any volunteer service per se.
Are you talking about puppets?
Public service. Have you volunteered anywhere? Did you do anything for a neighbor, clean up a yard? Yeah, anything like that. If you think that's
Well, it's my general nature to help others. I don't recall the actual, haven't kept a list or anything. I gave a ride to some people needing a ride here recently, just in the last week, and people stopped by that were stranded and needed help, and gave them a gas can full of gasoline. Didn't see that back, so I don't know if that counts or not, but things of that nature.
Yeah, that was public service. I'm not saying it has to be even a travel public service, just a public service that you have done within this
I
past
see.
year. I just want to know that you're out there in that community.
Helping people, I just help wherever I can. And whatever I can offer. And the only way I can help my people, I'm talking about Inchland, Keller, Nispelem, here. The only way I can help them is get on council and say, we gotta stop fooling around, people. There's people out here that need help, all kinds of help. Mental health, alcohol, drugs, shut-ins. I know this lady over, she just hasn't got a heart, she has a heart condition. She won't even talk to me about this election. Because her heart, she said her heart, she has too much trouble with her heart. And so getting worked up about election, about campaigning, it's just too much for her. So I just told her, we vote Friday, Saturday, so come and vote. And she just closed the door. And I want to help, I want our people to help themselves too by voting and saying, this is what we need to change. It won't change unless our people vote. I mean, they're stating their voice. And if you don't believe in a candidate, it doesn't matter which district you're from, if you don't believe in a candidate, any of them that are listed right on your ballot, no confidence, and put it in the ballot box. So when they open them up, they'll see how many people are concerned about this reservation and how many people are saying, we have no confidence here. Better change.
A couple of weeks ago, I helped clean a neighbor's yard, and at the Wenatchee Valley College, I'm part of the Red Road Association, and we're helping out with the United Powwow this weekend. And I help out people when I can. See somebody stranded on the road, which I can. So if somebody needs some help, I'll help them.
Awesome. I love hearing that. And good. The goodness. You know, when we talk about these candidate forms and stuff, you know, and you know, I have these two gentlemen up here that are seeking the position, you know, that I currently am in, and they're both very well qualified. They have really good hearts, and I too believe, like Lana, that you know, whoever's in there and whoever's in that position, that it's really important, you know, that you see the positive stuff that they're doing. These two gentlemen right here, you know, are just the nature of them standing up here and wanting to volunteer for this position is a indication of where their hearts are at. You know, they're wanting to help people, you know, and that's why they're here. The last 2 years, feels like my whole life's been in public service these last 2 years, but as far as volunteering for any of the, you know, I mean, I'm on a lot of committees, or on a lot of, you know, boards and stuff like that, so it's a lot of public service. And before I got on council, you know, I helped out with state games, powwows, the different community events, and so there, some of the, you know, the spiritual stuff that we do here locally. But you know, a lot of that stuff is, you know, you wouldn't expect that from anybody else. You just got to do it. So, yeah, I think that's a good question, Manny, because I think that's testimony to their commitment to this community and this district and their tribe and their people. Thank you.
Jerry, did you want to go next? Questions?
I still have questions, and if you're not ready, that's fine. Okay, so I would like to know how many languages you speak and which languages they are.
Well, primarily I speak one. I did have a little bit in native language years ago. Nothing I've held on to except just words, certain words or phrases. That's it. I speak very little of another language, Spanish, but again, very little. I can carry on a conversation and comprehend what somebody's saying to me to some degree, and that's pretty much it.
What was that again?
How many languages, okay, what languages do you speak in, what languages are they if you speak more than one?
I didn't make it, I can't hear you.
Languages, how many languages do you speak?
Oh,
How many different languages do you speak, and then if you speak more than one, please state the languages.
oh, I only speak European. That's what I was taught. That's all I speak. I know a few bad words
I think all of us know those.
in native. My dad said, don't say those. But I heard them already, so I'm not gonna. Good luck, everybody else.
Well, my primary language is English. Past 2 years, I've been over here at the language program learning our language. And I think I just want to, feels like I'm just barely on the next level, getting ready to go to the next level and getting to talk, carry on a conversation. And Spanish, I know a few words.
Yes, another good question. I primarily speak English. I do have some language, native language background, and you speak a little bit of that. I do have some Spanish too that I've picked up over the years. But this is a very good question. The powers that be right now are questioning whether or not we're Native Americans or not. And some of the stuff that they say is that you guys don't speak your language, and that's one of the things that separate us, from the mainstream society and culture is our language. So it's vital that we get in and we learn, our language, and so we put that Quam money. We put a lot of efforts towards the language so that we could start getting some more efforts in that direction. We're 5 on the endangered list, which is we've already lost some of our native languages as well. So it's vital that we get involved. The federal government's not really going to help us in this direction if we don't set up our own accounts and own funds for these language immersion efforts. We're one step away from termination through our language alone. So I think it's vital that we all learn it, and I'm very proud of our council currently right now. We actually vote in the native language, and very proud of John Cyrus for initiating that and getting us all on board to vote in the language, and his representation as a chair to, when he does, when we talk to delegates and stuff, we introduce ourselves in the native language first and primary so that they understand that we are Native American, Native American descent. We do have a true language and culture. So thank you, Manny, for bringing that question up.
I was interested to know if you feel there should be qualifications qualifications for council, anyone running for council, and if there should be a pre-drug test. Right, no, you know, once you put your name in, I think you should be drug tested at that point.
That'd be a good resolution to have.
Well, thank you, Sherry, for the question. First part of it, do I think there should be any pre-qualifications to run for council? My own personal opinion is that it does help to have some educational background, at least a certain standard met. I think that's probably the membership should probably have some input on that myself. I think that I have a bachelor's degree in economics. It served me well over the years. It makes you think in more of a disciplined manner as far as looking at the world and applying principles. As far as a drug test, absolutely. One of the things I'm running on, whoever did receive my letter, is I said, recommend drug testing for council, period. And I don't care what term it is. That's how I view it. If you're going to serve the people, you need to be clean and you need to be coherent. Thank you.
I believe I'm more or less person that knows a lot about nothing. But I know this much. My tribe is in trouble. My people are hurting. And that's all I care about. I went to school for business, but I didn't get an AA degree. I quit working so I could go to school, to focus on school. I didn't get an AA degree though. 15 credits short from an AA degree. But as far as UAs go, I think that's every month for everybody from the council person, the ED, the project or directors, the supervisors, and every employee in the tribe and CTEC. Joe Picolis better get in line. Everybody that works for this tribe, everybody should be taking notes. Because we don't need people that are drugging, we don't need people that are drinking and coming to work. Because a lot of our people, when they did that at CIPP, a few of our people got hurt. They were high, they were stoned, they were working, and they got hurt. And I was so upset about that, a bunch of us went over to the council, to the speed level. And we got a big row with the councilman about that. So I believe in UAs all around, everywhere. So, but I more or less, I will take one. I will take one every day if you want me to.
Education. Right now I'm going to school to be a medical assistant, so I don't have anything to do with business. But I think a lot of it's just decisions when you go to council, you know, is this going to be good for the people? Is this not going to be good for the people? I think that's one big thing. You know, if it's going to be good, you know, let's do this. If the people want it, yeah, let's do this, and well, let's try to do it, you know, let's figure a way out to get it done. And UAs, yes, I think UAs, they should be good. No more randomly, everybody should get UA, and I keep hearing stories of randoms, and it's the same people getting drawn every month, and it seems like they're just staying away from everybody else.
Very much so, and council do get UA as soon as they get in, they do get UA. But as far as qualifications are concerned, I think Kasapi, a long time ago, our leaders at that time, you know, the qualifications was they had to be really supported by the people. And I think that is a critical element. If you don't have the backing of the people, then it really makes it difficult to make any kind of change at all. But on another note, as far as qualifications are concerned, nowadays, because your leaders are really forced to, in this position, you're forced to know our system in and out, from natural resources to law stuff, to education, to health and human services, all that stuff. You need to know our system in and out, but you also need to know the state system in and out, and you need to know the federal system in and out in order to understand and to work in those environments and to get your needs met for your tribe. So I think qualifications, if I had it my way, they would probably have a minimum of a BA degree, so that you could understand and work with those people that are on the outside. But I also think there should be a cultural requirement too, which is, I don't know how to get to that point, but you should have some basic cultural understanding about your language for one, and then some of the spiritual practices that our people have done for years, the sweats and the other religions, I guess, and culture that's here on this reservation, and a little bit of cultural history as well, because those historical points, we often use those. If you don't know what it is, you know where to get it. But you need to use those historical points to argue some of your direction when you are in front of the state and federal government. So I think qualifications nowadays is critical. I don't think it's necessary. These people right here have a really good heart, and you have professionals working for you. I think it's critical, that they have a really good heart, because they're gonna, it's common sense. A lot of stuff we do is common sense kind of stuff. But as far as when you're, the more equipment you have in your repertoire to handle those situations in the state, federal government, the better. So yeah, I think in our time frame, with the amount of sovereignty issues that we're dealing with and legal issues that we're dealing with, I think it's critical that you have a basic understanding of education and a really strong background in history and culture.
Thank you for your answers. I had a definite reason for asking that, because I truly believe there should be. But unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to run again if it was education requirement, because all I have is a high school degree. On the drug test, the UAs are a joke, and it should be a lot more extensive test. And those are supposed to be done random also on council during the year. But we tried at one time to get the hair test, but some people was opposed to it because some of our tribal members consider their hair sacred. So anyway, thank you for your answers. The other question I have is, what's your opinion and feelings on CBC travel, and should they be making reports to the membership?
Thanks again, Sherry, for this question. I think first of all, when you travel, my understanding is you travel on tribal dime. It's tribal membership's money you travel on. And so I think, for one, you really need to watch it because you're not spending your own money. It's not a tourist trip. It's a business trip. So I think if you're going to go, if you're going to carefully reflect on when you should travel, you should choose and make it a priority what the travel is going to be about. And then when you get there, you should attend the meetings. all the meetings, and then you should, if there's a dinner, somewhere to mix with the people, the business people, you should take advantage of that, and you should be sober when you do it. And even if the other parties are participating in drinks, I don't think you should. And then I think when you come home, I think you should prepare a report of your travels. And that report includes a debriefing of why, the who, what, where, when, why type of thing. And then it also should include how much money you expended of the memberships, of the tribal memberships money. That's what I think. Anyway, I hope that addresses your question.
Thanks.
Travel to and from. We have internet, we have computers, we have Facebook. There's time on the plane. There's time in the evening when you're come back to your room and rest, to put things down, what you did that day. If you can make time to go out and play, it's better that you sit there and tell the people what you're doing. Because our people are paying for it. It isn't the council's money to spend, it's the people's money they are spending, or I am going to spend when I get on council, if I get on council. We have to have people that are accountable for what they're doing. We cannot go, I know that when other tribes have a meeting, they usually have it at their casinos. And we have to go to their meetings. We want to go to their meetings to find out what they're doing and how they're doing it. And if, maybe we'll get some ideas. Maybe we'll make it better for our tribe. But you don't have to go to that casino to gamble on tribal money. Use your own money. Take your credit card there. Don't use the tribe's money. We need accountability for all the directors, all the supervisors, all the employees that go to any conferences. We don't have to pay per diem so they can go to the casino. I think that accountability with the councilman, accountability with CEO of CTEC, accountability with all his staff, accountability with all the directors, the supervisors, and the employees. I believe in that. And if they're using that credit card for other things other than work, then they have to take it out of their wages every month, every week, every 2 weeks. We need accountability for all the people that are working for this tribe. They're working for this tribe. They're not here to spend their money. That's all I can say right now.
Thank you.
Or the trips that are necessary, yeah. Take the trips, and yeah, you're gonna make a report back, what you learned and how is it gonna help us. On every trip you take. But on these other, any trip. But these little trips like the Spokane or Seattle or somewhere where they drive, one thing that always bugged me was why 3, 4 councilmen went to one place and they all drove different cars. Something like that, I want to carpool. Yeah, I think need to get back to the people and tell them what you learned and how it's going to help us.
Yeah, travel's been a really tricky one. I think there's 2 major events that I think all councils should travel to, and that's the affiliated tribes of the Northwest Indians, which is when we are lobbying for federal dollars, we have a group. If we lobbied just for ourselves as a tribe, we're not very strong, but when we lobby as a group, for example, the AT&I affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians, those are all the tribes in the Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. They all get together and they come up with lobbying points for the next year, and they assist in the direction that they're going to, that they're wanting to move for different federal dollars or whatnot. So I think it's vital that our council are there. Those are the places where we can input into a bigger lobbying firm. There's another one called the National Congress of American Indians. That's where nationally where our all the tribes clear across the nation in Alaska get together, and they push the legislative agenda too through that conference there. So I think those two are really critical that our membership go. I think other critical arrangements, we have various times when we can influence the federal government to endorse different legislation federally. A lot of times our chairman can do that, but sometimes you have experts in those fields. I always think of Andy Joseph. He's been a really good, strong voice for us in Indian country in the health field. So, those are specialty requirements, and they're in these different positions of influence that they can really help us try out with gaining that voice at the federal level. And then at the state level too, we have little tiny objectives where we can just run over to Olympia and influence the system over there too. So I think those are critical that we're at those events. And what happens when you're not at those events and you're not influencing those decisions? Some of the smaller tribes can take precedent over what you're doing, and they can influence the decisions in their favor, and sometimes they can influence the dollars in their favor. So I think it's critical that we're there at those tables, at those meetings, lobbying for our own tribe, lobbying for our own dollars. And even though, the federal system, we haven't had very much success with them, but we still need to be there and see those opportunities. We need to have not only our council, but our experts along with them to be at those spots. Another event that I attend is the NIGA, National Indian Gaming Association. I think it's great that we stay on top of our gaming venues. That's our cash cow. And right now it's internet gaming. We need to stay on top of the issues there and influence those decisions because they haven't been made yet. I think it's important that we're there at those conferences. And if we're not there influencing them, then they're going to go the way of a smaller tribe or even the state system. So a couple other things that there's the National Finance Officers Association, the FOA. That's a lot of information between this one and the Reservation Economic Summit, the Res Summit conferences. Those two conferences there, we share business knowledge, and we share expertise with each other. We share contact information, and we definitely, we're definitely getting some collaborative efforts to join in with other tribes to strengthen our economies, and a lot of the ideas that we're getting now is because of those conferences and what's been said at those conferences and how people are exercising their sovereignty in any country. So I think it's critical, I think it's critical that we do, travel when it's appropriate. I think, as far as accountability with that travel, I don't know if anybody had been watching some of the live events, but like our specials and stuff like that, at the end of the specials, usually at the end of every special, those that travel between specials, at the end of the special will report directly to the rest of the council where they were, what significance came out of that, and then we try to share as much as we can with everybody there so that we're all getting the same information about what happened at that conference, which has really been nice. And I think once we start showing these live stream, people are going to start understanding some of the stuff that we are traveling for, and are going to, see the benefit, the little tiny benefits that we're getting from that travel. But I think there's what you don't want is you don't want the abuse. You don't want the person that's there just, doing it for the, doing it for the per diem or doing it for just a vacation. I haven't seen too much of that. I think we're spread real thin with each one of the things that we're doing. I see a lot of people, are hustling, trying to get to the next event, trying to get that information and trying to bring that back to our tribe. So, and there's some people that don't travel. And when those people don't travel in those key positions, then the other people have to pick up. And it's kind of like they're going to those meetings for them, kind of almost in a way. So it's those are the things we have to balance out somehow. Thank you.
Snea, could you, I just have one question in regard to your statement. When you go on these trips, like for the National Congress of American Indians or affiliated tribes, could you speak to why it's important for the whole council to go as opposed to just a delegation go?
Okay. Well, I'll step back. We don't need the whole council. But you do need, what happens at the National Congress of American Indians is they have a lot of committees, just like how we're set up. They have the Natural Resource Committee, they have Health and Human Service Committees. They have these different committees that are set up, education, and they all meet and they push the legislative agenda for those areas. And so, for example, if I went by myself, I would be in one of those committees while the other 7, 8 committees are going. And so it's important that we have somebody, if I just went, we'd only have one person representing us and pushing the agenda. So I think it's, you don't have to have everybody there. Obviously, that what we've tried to do this last year was we tried to make sure that somebody was back home to make quorum so that business doesn't stop here. And I think that's important, and we just need a 5 for that. But as we can get as many people there as possible to get in there, not just to be there. That's not that's not your purpose. Is just to be there. You need to be there. You need to be in a position to influence. You need to learn what they're doing. You got to influence it. You got to see the opportunities where we can influence policies that might help Colorado. And there's some big arguments with land-based tribes versus small land-based tribes. There's some tribes that are really small in nature. They only have maybe a couple hundred people, and they're trying to push agendas for tribes like us that have 10,000 people. And so there's a constant battle. They haven't found a balance. So it's critical that we get in there and make sure our opinions are heard.
I think that's what the membership doesn't really understand, is the fact that all they see is 14 councilmen traveling, and why do they all have to go, Where now, if we all understood that there's reasons why certain councilmen need to be there because they're representing like natural resources or health and human services or whatever, that you would, for me, I didn't know. Just right now, I just learned just by asking this question, why certain councilmen are traveling more than some of the other ones are traveling.
Right. And right now, we do have, Andy Joseph. He's in some of those positions that are of really significant influence. He's on the chair of the national committees, and so it's really critical that he's on travel. So,
right,
and when and people just see, oh, he's traveling again, But on the other hand, if we could advertise it, which we have a hard time doing, is getting back to membership, telling them why we're doing things. We have a hard time doing that. And I think this year is going to be a lot better because we have the online, the Tribune and Facebook, so we can get you guys stuff in real time, as opposed to the snail mail Tribune that was once a month. Now we can start getting the information to you guys all the time. We're still going to do the Tribune, but now for some of those people we can start getting information to them as soon as it happens. So, but like Andy, perfect example. He needs he's out there. He's in a very good position to influence. Unfortunately, we have to pick up the slack, but we're all aware of that. We're all aware of his travel. We're aware that he's doing those things. And it's up to us to make sure that the home doesn't fall apart while that's happening. And sometimes it's a very delicate juggle. Sometimes we don't succeed. You know, you're at so many different spots at once. You know, so it's a delicate balance, and we all have our different agendas too. And so it's really up to the council to communicate, to make sure that business at home happens, and then so that travel is validated and going in the right direction. Sorry, I keep talking.
You're fine.
Not fair to the rest of the.
Questions? Anybody want to ask any questions?
I just have a question.
Don't trip, Mandy.
You talked previously about informing our membership. How would you go about using our tribal website, like for these trip reports? Would you utilize it to your advantage, to informational purposes of the membership? Could you kind of just give me your ideas on that?
On how they're going to inform us
Yeah.
on everything that we just asked about, yeah.
I'm using the website.
They can do a blog.
I'll use any means of communication necessary, including whatever's available, whether it be Facebook, a blog.
There we go.
I'll use the Tribal Tribune that's online. I'll use the Tribal Tribune that comes out monthly. Any means available to communicate with the membership frequently and regularly is what I'll do. And I'm still looking into the latest and greatest technologies available. I happen to think that radio station that has been seems to have kind of been lost along the way here. I know it was fought hard for it. I think that would still probably be a great way to communicate, maybe a live form on there. So yes, any and all means of communication.